oh, the talk about primaries. And I'm going to use this to react to everybody that have been saying party primaries, and the fact that, oh, the reason why a particular candidate is not going for party primaries. So I support a healthy competition during party primaries. What I do not support is the dollarization of the process. And the reason why a lot of people have complained about these party primaries is the dollarization of the process. And it's pretty much simple. A presidential ticket in any political party has become the best ticket money can buy. The question you will ask is, why will a party political primaries lead to a surge in demand for dollars? It's because it shows that the party primaries is pretty much bought. There's no transparent process, and the process is not a democratic one. It's a moneycracy, not a democracy. And that's what the process has become. So it's about who can buy the biggest delegates. And when people shrug and say they cannot be part of this, the question we should ask is, how do we sanitize the process? Like you said rightly, Vimbai, look at the so-called consensus going on now, and look at the madness around consensus. This is not even a consensus. This is an enforcement of the Father's will. What is happening in most political parties today is a replica of the Godfather. If my memory serves me right, the likes of Vito Corleone trying to run the family raffia ring the way they want by imposing people in various positions. That is what is happening today. And that's why you see that a lot of people are disgruntled, so much so that they have now been buffeted by an electoral law that makes it difficult for them to be able to move around. I submit to you, this is not the way to run democracy. The will of the people should matter, but in this moneycracy that we run, it's not the will of the people. It is the will of money, and it's how much you have it. So you see the kind of country we live in. And that's why I am shocked. But anyway, nothing shocks me about Nigeria.
Please, before we continue, do me a favor by clicking on your subscribe button. Just the only way to encourage and support us.
If you look at the democracy we're practicing, during the primary elections, it is moneycracy in the words of Rufai Oseni. When it comes to the general elections, it is judiciocracy and bribery, according to the words of Michael Zekome. Because we buy delegates during the primary, and during the main elections, we bribe judges, and the judges decide who becomes our governors and our presidents and our lawmakers, not the people.
If you think you are too big for politics, MC Oluomo will be your next governor. Mushroom picking will govern your state if you continue to exclude yourselves. So I beg you, those of you who have an estranged relationship with your PVC, go and make up with your PVC. Stop the quarrel. Speak to those in your circle. It doesn't mean that every Nigerian problem will be cured, but at least we can begin the journey to sanity. This coming election is a clash of visions. It's either you want to continue on the old trajectory, keep doing things the way we've been doing it for the last 62 years, or you are interested in traveling in a different direction. That decision is exclusively yours. The Nigerian ruling class is obliged to pretend that we are a democracy every 4 years. So this time around, we have to play the game of pretense again. We are a democracy. So because they say we are a democracy, you have to remember your PVC. When you have your PVC, you have to ignore the lies they will tell you about ethnicity, about religion, all the things that they have used to divide you, whilst they themselves have not been divided. You must of necessity remember each and every one of those things when it is time to take the decision.
Please, before we continue, do me a favor by clicking on your subscribe button. Just the only way to encourage and support us.
There are only two ways to change a country, especially this our own country. We are faced with two choices. Is either the gun or is your PVC. You are going to have to decide which one is going to be. But our current trajectories are unsustainable, and Nigeria will eventually collapse if we kept traveling on the path that we are logged into. So we have a choice. Because of these young ones that I saw earlier on coming to minister to us, because of these little ladies out with the mom, because of some of us who have children, a lot of us here, we close our eyes and we envision a better future for Nigeria than what we have. But it's not going to happen because we sat still in one corner and we believe that it's none of our business and we became disengaged from the process. 2019, 27 point something million voted out of a voting population of, I believe, 81 million. That meant that only a third voted in that election. When such low numbers participate in the process, it becomes easy to manipulate. It also becomes easy to buy votes. It also becomes easy. I'm told that in this particular neighborhood in 2019, people were prevented from voting. That was because people were not particularly engaged. If sufficient numbers of you were engaged in the process, they will be too scared to come. How many talks do they have? We are more than them. But we can only discover our numbers when we stand, thank you, when we stand our watch. I will stand my watch. That is an active decision. It's not passive. There is nothing passive about watching. They say, sit down, look. Sit down, look is not passive. You have to decide to stay awake to look. So this one that we have been doing since all these years, where we have made victims of ourselves by our refusal to engage with the system, it has to stop. Already in several parts of Nigeria, life is nasty, short, and brutish. I would like to close by bringing something to us, and I thank the survivors who have come up here to share their experiences.
Alright, thanks for staying. If you haven't clicked on the subscribe button, please do us a favor by doing so. You see, I want to say one thing and I want to make it very clear. A lot of Nigeria are stuck in Nigeria today because they never had an opportunity. And why? Because the system have already trapped everybody. And those who are opportune, because of what they have already eaten, they couldn't say anything anymore. You see, Nigerian political system is one of the terrible one in the whole world. No part of the world that doesn't have bad political system. But in Nigeria, it is very obvious, visible to the blind and audible to the deaf. We have talked about these issues of primaries and the main election. And I love the way it is being explained, bit by bit, so that a layman will understand it. There's nothing different in what happened in Imo State years ago. Why did I say so? Because when the primaries are being sold by the delegates, now the judiciary now put the person in power they want to be. That's exactly what happened in Imo State. Because how can you explain that Hope Uzodinma, who come forth in an election under the APC banner, becomes the governor, leaving those that came first, second, and third behind? That's to say that judiciary system are the one putting people in place, not the main election. And which is why we are calling on every meaningful Nigeria to fight for their vote coming 2027. Like what Dele fellow to me said in his word, if we didn't make up with the enmity we are having with our PVC, there's a high chances of MC Omolowo to be the next governor. And that's to be honest with you. You see, until we understand this political path that Nigeria is going, then and work towards in liberating ourselves, it means that there's not going to be a better Nigeria and a new Nigeria is not going to be possible anywhere if we didn't fight for it. And how are we going to fight for it? Yes, a lot of life might be lost. quite sure it happened during the time of Yaradua. But if nobody is willing to make sacrifice, then it means that it is not worth, to agitate for. So if I'm scared to die for what I believe that is right and for the betterment of my family, my children and my unborn generation, and the beautiful children of my lovely brothers and sisters, then it means that I cannot serve to say that this is where we are getting things wrong. So the high time we understand that we could make sacrifice at the end of the day, that we might lose our loved ones, our father, our brothers, and our sister, and condole ourselves now that they all are still alive, and move on while they are still alive, and know that any sacrifice that is going to be made in coming 2027 general election is what, for the better cause. That's the way to go. It has already happened in USA, so happening in Nigeria is not going to be a different something. Well, share your own kindly opinion in the comment section, and don't forget to share this video to all your social media platforms. Thank you and God bless.